Hey guys, welcome back to the Jas and Jo Show. So, this episode, we want to talk to you guys about whether you should buy a business, start a business, or do a combination.
Yeah, and the reason why we brought up this topic is because we've been getting a lot of our friends and even I think maybe even a couple relatives who have contacted us about starting a business. They want to start a company and do all of these things, and we think it's great. I mean, I just love entrepreneurs. I love business owners. I love people who are brave enough to even consider that because it is definitely a challenge. However, we question people's motives when they want to do things like that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself, honestly, went into it with the wrong motive and the wrong expectation. And this is going to relate to why we asked the question whether you should buy a business or start a business. So if you're one of those really creative individuals and you just like doing things on your own and you don't mind struggling, you don't mind the grind, you don't mind staying up late, probably till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and having to get up the next morning, probably before 8 o'clock. If you are that type of person, then you may be able to be a founder of a company. And I don't want to say founder as in, being this really super cool thing that you could be. It is really cool. However, it takes a lot of work and sacrifice that a lot of people aren't necessarily ready for.
And we kind of talked about that on our tip of the day a couple of days back. We talked about knowing your motive, whether are you really ready for the entrepreneurial lifestyle? And entrepreneurship, I mean, that goes into, you're an entrepreneur whether you buy a business or whether you start a business.
Right. And you could do either one, and there is no such thing as a wrong answer. However, here's the thing. If you're the type of person who you actually decently enjoy your W-2 job, maybe you have a full-time or part-time job, and you don't mind working that job, but you want to be financially free one day and you want extra cash flow, then maybe you should actually consider buying a business, especially if you don't have like an idea of what you would do if you had to start a company. That was actually me. Like, I wasn't necessarily super creative, so I knew every company sold a product or a service, and I had no clue of what value I could offer to the marketplace, which actually influenced me to start buying real estate assets as well as business assets, because all you have to do is understand the numbers and the math behind it in order for you to make that actually work. So if you are one of those people who don't necessarily, if you have the entrepreneurial bug, like, it's been in your blood since probably childhood. And I'm not saying that you can't cultivate it, because you very much can.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people do it. However, if you're not starting out like that, what you should probably do is study business as much as you possibly can and working on, either partnering with people who already own a business or even just buying businesses and seeing how they work and see if you can scale them and add value to them.
So, like, buying a business,
Yeah.
that could also be like buying a franchise too.
Right.
So that's how, honestly, that's how we got into business. Our first business transaction was the Lil Coffee Cabin, which is a franchise. It wasn't a franchise at the time because it was like super, super new into the franchise development phase, but now it is. And we're also looking at buying a gym franchise too. So, franchises, they're also a form of buying businesses. And I remember I heard Gary Vee say that if you are a franchisee, then you're not like a real entrepreneur. And I beg to differ just because it's, if you have like one franchise, then like I get it. I can understand where he's coming from. But if you're buying multiple franchises, if you're, adding value to them, then that you are a business owner. You are an entrepreneur. You are, adding value. You're creating.
Yeah, and I think also what he also might have meant by that is your role. So I know people who buy businesses very passively. Like there's doctors who, they love what they do for work, but they know that they need extra income on the side. So they lend money to business owners so that they can open up business and they get either, some type of promissory note that cash flows every month or every quarter or something like that, or they get equity in whatever the business owner actually bought. And they're not quote unquote entrepreneurs because they're not the ones scaling the company.
Yeah,
However,
they're just like passive investors.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that because those guys actually make more money than almost everybody.
And they do the least amount of work.
And they do the least amount of work. So I want to be one of
That's
them
the
one
goal.
day.
That's
Yeah.
really the goal.
Yeah, so really just try to figure out what are your motives. Are you only doing it for money? If you're only doing it for money, please, I beg of you, do not go out there and start a company because you will get ate up.
Do not, like, okay, so for example, we've been running into a lot of people that have been wanting to start up like clothing stores and like brick and mortar stores. And when you're starting up a business, you need to look at what will happen in the future. How is Amazon going to affect your business? How is Walmart and Target going to affect your business? Because, I get it, you really want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business owner. I totally get it. It looks glamorous, but you need to think about the consequences, the good and the bad consequences that will happen when you start that business. So don't just look at right now like, oh, it'd be so cool if I started a store. No.
Yeah. And honestly, if you want to be a founder, my hat, goes off to you. But at the end of the day, keep in mind, if you want to be a founder, you're going to crash and you are going to burn several times.
Yes.
All of the business mentors, well, not all of them, but almost all of the business mentors that I look up to, each and every single one of those guys has probably been sued several times. And also, some of them have even been bankrupt a couple times. And that's a stressful situation. I mean, there's people who literally commit suicide because their business did not pan out the way they wanted it to, and they went through this financial hardship and they just ended their life because of it.
And
it is going to be a hard road.
Yeah, not to mention, like, you're probably not going to make money in the first or second or third or fifth year.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a while.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard Amazon wasn't even profitable for like the first decade.
Yeah.
And he stuck to it for a decade. Honestly, I don't know if I could not be profitable for an entire decade. And I think he had a decent job, but that's what a founder is. They're willing to go through those long periods of struggle for all of that upside, because the founder does have the most amount of upside, but you got to look at the risk. That is the most risky thing you can do as an entrepreneur. So if you're one of those people who you just want cash flow, buy things that already cash flow.
Yes. Partner with people.
Right.
Partner, get into deals with people and let them handle the work. Let them do all the work. Let them worry about the market research and everything that needs to go into running a business, and you can just profit. So that's one of the ways,
Yeah, and honestly, like, at the end of the day, another reason we bring up this topic is because at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, where you're from, there is absolutely no way, and I do mean no way, to be financially free as opposed to owning a business. Now, there are going to be people who say, well, what if I have a 401k, IRA, or a pension? Oh, cool. Guess what makes that pension, that retirement account grow? Businesses, right? If those businesses in that account don't do well, you don't do well. And some people will say, okay, what about assets like real estate? Well, if you think about it, a real estate deal is just a more passive business, because you're giving a product, which is the house, the rental space, or whatever, and a service, which is the management and the maintenance of that space, in exchange for money. So it is a business. That is actually the only way to financial freedom. That's the only way you can retire. So we don't care which one you do. You have to do the soul searching and figure out which one is best for you. However, we do know for a fact that you got to do one or the other. There is no really third option. Or actually, the third option is you could do a combination of both, like us. But
so what we do is we founded our real estate business, and I mean, it's not that much that goes into it, because honestly, we just partner with people on our real estate side. We partner with people that are more experienced than us, who've been in business longer. You know, it adds credibility to us, and we make sure that our investors are safe as they can be. And then we buy existing businesses. So we buy into franchises, and we buy into businesses that aren't franchises, but they are profiting very, very well.
yeah. So if you ever want to ask us questions about what we do and how we do it, mind you guys, I do want to let you know we do all of this with absolutely zero of our own money. And I don't say that to really brag, but I want to let you guys know what's actually possible out there. Like, you can literally start from nothing, and I'm a testimony to this, and you know, start building an empire from literally just dirt. At essentially, that's, you know, what we did. And what we do, kind of like she said, we just raise capital and we invest in things that we know produce strong cash flow. And that is pretty much our business model. If you want to know details about it, feel free to hit us up, comment, and email.
Subscribe to us and share this video. This is a topic that everybody needs to hear. And make sure you guys watch our next video, which is going to be how to buy a business. If that's the route you want to take, you should definitely watch. And if you have any more questions about you know, if you want to partner with us, if you want to lend. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for subscribing, for liking our videos, for watching them, you know, getting those view minutes up. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day, guys.
And we'll see you next time.